Is the Opal C1 webcam still as good as everyone says? And is it the best webcam in 2024? In this Opal C1 webcam review, I'm going to cover all the info you need to know, plus how it stacks up against my current favorite webcam, the Insta360 Link. Now, I just want to call this out up front that this is not a sponsored video. Yes, Opal Camera did send us out this particular webcam, but we're under no obligation to do anything at all with it. We don't even have to make a video, and no, we are not being paid. Now, our general response when companies want to send out gear like this for us to test is, sure, we'd love to check it out, but we will never guarantee a review or a video. We'll only create content on something that we genuinely think is awesome and is also going to be a good fit for our community. Now, I'm glad they agreed because this thing is great, but it also means that I'm under no obligation to say or do anything. They don't even know that I'm making this video. So you know, these are my own unfiltered opinions. So the Opal C1 webcam is an awesome little webcam. It's actually what I'm using to record this video now. It comes in either black or white, and it's actually got this paint splatter texture look to it. So I personally think it is a great looking webcam. It actually looks a lot like an action camera. It's made of machined aluminium or aluminum, and they say it's got less than 2% plastic. There is a standard tripod thread on the bottom for mounting, but it does also come with a monitor mount too. On the back for connectivity, there is a USB-C port. There's also a heatsink to help keep this thing cool. On the front, you've obviously got the lens, which is an f1.8 aperture. And all these circles here, this is their microphone mesh. In the box, you also get a USB-C to USB-C coiled cable. Inside, it's got a 4K Sony sensor. So this is a 4K webcam. And they say on their website, DSLR quality on a webcam for the first time. And again, this webcam has been out for a little while now, but I do think it's one of the best options out there right now. I think one of the biggest strengths with this webcam, outside of it having an awesome Sony sensor, so the picture quality, as you can see on this webcam, is awesome, but it's really taken to the next level with the software that comes with it as well. Now, at the time of filming this video, there still is no PC compatible software. I'm hoping it's coming soon. They've said for a while that there'll be Windows software coming soon, but for right now, to be able to access a lot of the features and really dial everything in, it's Mac only. So a lot of webcams these days do come with other software to help you get more out of it, but there is so much packed into this Opal Composer software that I absolutely love, and it really helps you get the most out of this. So straight away, looking up the top here, you can see we've got different presets. I'm currently running preset number 1, which you can see here, the settings that I have applied. If we just set this back to default right now, then you can see that this is the image that is coming straight off the camera in the random lighting scenario that we have here with different colored lights and things, which normally throws a lot of webcams, which is where I like to be able to dial everything in. So you can see the adjustments that I've made if we switch back here to preset 1. Up the top here, we can see our resolution. So we've got 4K, we're not zoomed in at all. That is our current bokeh setting. I'll get to that in a minute. And we're currently set to manual focus, and for good reason. So one of the things that I think make this camera look so good is the control that you have here over things like the bokeh or the background blur. So you can see with this slider, we could turn it right off. So this is no background blur at all, or we could crank it right up. So this is really mimicking a DSLR or a mirrorless camera or a more professional camera. Personally, for me, this is too much, and you can start to see around the edges here that there's almost like a little bit of haloing happening. So if we dial this back a little bit, maybe somewhere around here, it starts to look pretty good. There's a good amount of separation between me and the background. And you can see, even if I'm moving my hands and stuff around, it all looks really good. Scrolling down here, we can really dial in a lot. You've got your color temperature. You've also got tint controls in here as well, which is one that a lot of webcam software miss. We've also got color controls in here, which I really haven't played with. And there's also a bunch of effects as well. So if we turn these on, you can see that we've got some touching up that's happening. Wow, I mean, my skin looks amazing. It's not something I would normally use. Let's dial this one right down. We've also got tone sync. So this is like your skin tones. So you can see that that is making some adjustments there. I mean, even that looks pretty good. Maybe looking at this, I was probably a little pink before. So we can bring some warmth back in. And you also have the ability to pixelate your video here if you needed to for some reason, not quite sure why, but you've got that ability. Now you've also got the ability down the bottom here to add in different backgrounds where it's going to replace the background for you. So let's open this one, and you can see now I'm in Thailand. Now this piece here doesn't work that well. I mean, you can see that there's some glitching and stuff going on. It's not bad. It's not, again, something that I would normally use. And you've obviously got this feature built into Mac. You've got this feature built into Zoom and other apps and things too. But if we come up here to this stickers section, I think this is actually pretty cool functionality to have in webcam software. We have the ability to add text onto our screen here. So I could type in Justin Brown, and then we can change how this looks. There's some styling options and things down the bottom here. We can change the color if we wanted to as well. We'll go yellow so it stands out. We can actually have this text track as well. So move with face. Let's put it down here and let's test this out. Move with my face. Now, obviously, if we deselect it here, so it's back to full color, I don't really know when I'd use the tracking thing like this, but definitely text on screen. So we can select this, we can keep making changes to it. Let's turn off the tracking. We can also choose if this text is going to go to the background. So if I switch here, move it to the background, and then maybe we want it up here somewhere, and now we apply that, it's actually baked into the background there. So this is pretty cool to be able to essentially bring up text and images and things through your webcam, which means that you can use them on any software, any call app as well. And you can interact with it while you're live or while you're on a call too. So that's adding text, but we can also add in images as well. So let's go ahead and pick an image. Let's grab that same one again, but this time instead of it being our background, it's actually something that we can scale down, we can move around. Maybe we'll put it over here somewhere. That's now part of our webcam that we can use wherever. And we have the ability here to move this to the background as well. So we could select it, we can press background feature here, and it's now part of the background, same as the text. Now there's also recording capabilities in here as well, which is actually how I'm recording this video right now. I'm also recording my computer screen, but the main camera is actually being recorded just in their own software, and the quality is great. But going back up the top here, you can see we've got controls for things like your zoom. There's also face lock here. So if I press on this, it's going to zoom in a little bit, but it's also going to follow my face around. Think of it like center stage on Mac. So we'll go ahead and turn that back off now. And that's actually kicked us into autofocus mode. So previously I said I was in manual focus. Right now it's in autofocus and it's not that sharp. We really need to be in manual focus mode. So if we adjust the focus here, you can see how much sharper it's going to be. Like this, set it 0.5 meter, switching back to auto now, you can see it's just softer. It's not quite in focus versus this, much sharper. So it's not a deal breaker, but it's definitely something that you need to be aware of. It's probably my biggest frustration piece with this camera is that the autofocus really isn't usable. I mean, maybe if you're doing a low quality call or something like that, then some people won't notice, but in order to get the best out of this, you just want to be using manual mode. Now, just before we do some side-by-side comparisons and check out the microphones and how those sound, there's one other feature in here in the software. If we come up here to calls, then in here, we can hold to record a loop. And what that's going to do is allow you to do a short recording and it's going to play it back continuously. It's going to loop it. The idea here is that if you're on some sort of Zoom call or work call and you want to leave the computer, you could hit record. You could record yourself sitting there, blinking, nodding, whatever you want, and it's going to automatically play back and loop over and over for you while you're not there. I can't say that I would ever use this, but it's an interesting feature. So what you're hearing right now are the built-in microphones on the webcam, and I'm sitting pretty much arm's length away from the camera. So as with most webcams that have microphones, they're not bad, but they're never going to be as good as a separate microphone. So the microphone I'm using that's just out of shot here right now is the Rode Video Mic NTG, and we can see it sounds a lot better. Now for a side-by-side comparison, I'm also recording on the Insta360 Link webcam, which if you want a full review on that, there's one linked down in the description. Now I am going to go ahead and set the Opal C1 back to defaults so that we can see a more true side-by-side comparison. So the only manual setting that's applied here is focus, so that we're in focus on the Opal C1 camera. But you can see there's a lot of difference between the two. There is more detail, more sharpness on the Insta360 shot, but it's also, as I said, a pretty difficult lighting environment here with the different colored lights in the roof and the background and everything as well. And the Insta360 camera is another standout, giving you a good amount of controls to be able to dial everything in to create a better looking shot as well. Now, it's not to the level of features and settings and color adjustments that you have on the Opal C1. That to me is a big standout feature, but it's also a different use case for a webcam as well, with its built-in gimbal, with its built-in AI tracking capabilities that are next level on what you get access to on the Opal C1 camera. But for me, the image off the Opal C1 camera, it just feels like a camera. It looks so much more professional. And yes, I'd say a big piece of that is that blurry background look, but it's also that to me, it doesn't look so over-processed. So while the Insta360 Link is one of my favorite webcams right now, I personally like the look and feel of the image coming off the Opal C1 more. Now, the other reason these two cameras are good to compare is because they're essentially the same price. They're both pretty much $300 to buy these cameras right now. But while it's a great webcam, it's definitely not perfect. I mean, straight out compatibility without a Windows app version, hopefully it's coming soon. I have previously had a few issues with the software crashing, sometimes on a call, and I need to just reopen up the software for it all to work again. Now, that hasn't happened for a while. There's been quite a few updates and things that have come out to both the camera firmware, but also the software as well. And I guess the other thing I miss on this camera that the Insta360 Link has is when you're not using it, it actually rotates and it points down. So it's got the gimbal, it's all movable, but it's a great privacy thing and good peace of mind as well, where you can clearly see that even if your camera was on, it's not going to be capturing anything. With the Opal C1, it does come with a lens cover. It's a little magnetic circle cap here that you just push against the camera and it sticks on it. Not bad, but honestly, I'm surprised that I haven't lost it already. And it's something that I've manually got to remember to put on and off, whereas with the Link, it was just automatic. And again, it's something so minor, but until you've experienced using the gimbal style webcams and been able to control it all from your computer and make adjustments like that without needing to touch the camera, then that is actually a big advantage for the gimbal side of things. But at the end of the day, this is a webcam. And I do think that the Opal C1 has the upper edge here in terms of picture quality and the look and feel of the image it produces. So for that reason, this is now my go-to for image quality when it comes to webcams. Now, as always, we've got a bunch of other resources and links down in the description box below, so go and check those out. There's also a link to where you can purchase both the Opal C1 and the Insta360 Link. And if you want to check out a full review of the Insta360 Link, there is one of those linked on screen now. I'll see you in the next video.